Good afternoon. This is Brett Hayworth for Siouxland Public Media News. All 6 Republican U.S. senators from Siouxland voted on Tuesday in support of President Donald Trump's priority tax and spending bill. Those voting yes in the Senate were John Thune and Mike Rounds from South Dakota, Charles Grassley and Joni Ernst of Iowa, and Pete Ricketts and Deb Fischer of Nebraska. The measure, known as the Big Beautiful Bill Act, extends tax cuts from 2017 and adds deductions for tips and overtime pay. It also adds work requirements for some low-income people to qualify for Medicaid health insurance coverage or SNAP food assistance. The most recent estimate by the Congressional Budget Office says the bill would increase the national debt by $3 trillion over 10 years. The bill is headed back to the U.S. House, where all 4 Iowa representatives voted in favor of the previous version of that legislation. Additionally, as Pride Month ends, transgender Iowans no longer have state civil rights protections. Iowa becomes the first state to take gender identity out of its civil rights code. Governor Kim Reynolds signed the sweeping bill on February, and it went into effect on Tuesday, July 1st. Maxwell Mowitz leads the LGBTQ rights group, One Iowa. He says more people are asking the group about community supports and safe spaces for transgender people. With the new law, people born in Iowa won't be able to change the sex designation on their birth certificates anymore. And as a result of the law, lawmakers were able to ban Medicaid coverage from some gender-affirming care. Reynolds and some supporters of the law said it's needed to protect women's rights. Starting today, July 1st, Iowa drivers will only be able to use their phones and electronic devices in hands-free mode. The new law is aimed at reducing accidents and crashes from distracted driving. Law enforcement will hand out only warnings for the first few months. Then, starting on January 1st, they can issue citations for $100 fines. Alex Dinkla is the Iowa State Patrol Public Information Officer. He says that grace period is to educate the public and to help people shift out of old habits.
Put that device in that do not disturb mode, driver focus mode. Whether you have an Android, whether you have an iPhone, each of those phones has a feature so that you're not tempted by that chime, by that phone call.
Dinkla says there are easy ways to comply, like turning on speakerphones. Last year, the Iowa Department of Transportation recorded more than 900 crashes due to drivers being distracted by their phone or other electronic device. In other news, a new report suggests Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem supplemented her income while serving as the South Dakota governor. The report, published Monday by the investigative journalism nonprofit ProPublica, says Noem secretly received $80,000 from a dark money group in 2023. South Dakota Public Broadcasting reported the money came from a nonprofit that promotes Noem, called the American Resolve Policy Fund. Its tax filing showed it paid an $80,000 fundraising fee to Noem's personal company. That company was registered in Delaware minutes before the American Resolve nonprofit was incorporated there. American Resolve noted the fee was payment for Noem bringing in $800,000. Noem did not include that payment in a disclosure form she released after President Trump selected her as DHS Secretary. The ProPublica said it's normal for politicians to raise money for nonprofits that support them, but it is unusual for them to keep some of the money for themselves. Noem's attorney, Trevor Stanley, issued a statement saying that Noem, quote, fully complied, unquote, with federal disclosure laws and was approved by the Office of Government Ethics. Additionally, a special election has been set to fill the seat of an Iowa lawmaker who died last week. Republican Rocky DeWitt of Lawton was in his first term for the Iowa Senate District 1 seat. Governor Kim Reynolds has scheduled that election for Tuesday, August 26 for voters in Iowa's Senate District 1, which covers a part of Woodbury County and Sioux City. For Siouxland Public Media News, I'm Brett Hayworth.